Hey, everyone. My name is Tamara Brown. I am an author, blogger, website designer, as well as a publishing consultant for Blog Diaries. I wanted to kind of tackle a subject that is relevant because, for one, I am an author. Um, and I have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs. And the biggest conversation when I walk in the room is lack of support. And it's so common in our community. It's so common across the nation. I mean, I can go on Facebook, I can go on Twitter, I can go on Instagram, Snapchat, and authors and entrepreneurs have it the worst. And I say that for a lot of reasons because we're always being challenged, right? Musicians, because the biggest word of the day is lack of support, especially at the beginning stages, but even in the middle and towards when you're trying to push towards your destiny of being the successful person. When you first write a book or you're becoming an entrepreneur, the excitement is almost like, yay, people are going to love my book, people are going to buy my book, my book is going to be a bestseller. These are all of the things that I hear on a regular basis, right? I hear all of the things that I said when I came out with Blues Treasure in 2012. Like, my book is going to be a bestseller. Everybody's going to love my book. Everybody is going to love Tamara P. Brown. And it was such a rude awakening because the people that I thought that were going to support me didn't. And I'm not talking about just buying the book, because this is so much deeper than buying the book. I'm going to say it because I'm an author, and I read, literally, if I'm going to review your book, I literally sit down and I read your book. I literally read the person's book, no matter if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, I will read your book and leave a review, right? Because the time I spent to read your book, I might as well go ahead and add the review because I have Kindle and all those good things. But even for entrepreneurs, whether you're starting a clothing line, whether you're starting a cleaning business or whatever, nothing is more disappointing and more disheartening is starting a launch and no one shows up, or a few people show up, or those key people that you really need to show up just don't come in. I'm telling you, that is some heartbreaking shit. Okay? It is so heartbreaking that, like, literally you just you have to have a strong will in this business. Let me just say that, whether you're an author, musician, or an entrepreneur, because if you really, really rely on the key people that you think are going to support you, and that's family and friends, you're going to find out. I think when you start a business, and especially when you're doing something positive, you're going to find out who your true friends are. You're going to know who is with you and who's not with you. You're going to find out who's gossiping about you. The biggest thing that I've learned is people would come and inbox me and say, oh, I love your book, I love your book, I love your book. And then I'd be like, well, could you leave a review? And they would never leave a review. And my friend, I'll kid you not, a few of my friends, it says, it's because that's not what they told me. That's not what they said about your book. They was like, yep. So you find out that people tell you things behind your back, but what they're saying usually they don't support you because of what they have said behind your back. And they can't go and recant that, because if I go back and tell them something totally different, that's going to be an issue, right? Right. So I've come to the biggest conclusion that you have to understand who your target market is. And what I've always told fellow authors, what I've told entrepreneurs is, it's definitely not your family and friends. Stop, and I'm learning that. Stop targeting your family and friends. Build readerships. Build relationships around people who are going to literally support you, and it's not your family and friends. So let me back up a little bit. Technically, It's not your, as much as I want to say it's their responsibility, I would love to say that, right? Because I support them. I buy groceries. They really don't have to. There's no rule in being a family and friends that says that they have to support you, right? They should, because you probably supported everything that they've done. You've been by their side. You had their back. But if you don't practice building readers and stepping outside of that box of, let me stick to my family, let me stick to my friends, then you're going to be stuck in only generating sales and business relationships from those key people. And when that dries up, or they don't like the last book, or they don't like the book that you wrote, or they don't like the services that you provided in whatever business it is that you have open, they're going to back away. So you got to step outside of that. And I know that it is disheartening to hear people say, to have to actually deal with it, because I dealt with it on a number of occasions. I have dealt with the fact that people are just not going to support. People are not going to support you because maybe you didn't market your book right. So in this business, you can't be last minute. And my favorite one is they want your stuff for free. I kid you not. I have a family member who be like, girl, send me that PDF file. I want the book on PDF. And listen, when you send it in PDF, can you send me 3 copies? I kid you not. Has never paid for a book. And that's okay, but how about leave a review? If I give you the book for free, how about leave a review? At this point in the game, I don't even care if it's a bad review. I kid y'all not. I'm at the point of, I don't even care if you leave a bad review. I was on a focus group today with over 1,000 different authors and we were talking about different genres, and I got chosen for urban fiction. And that was the biggest conversation that we had, is that we just don't get the support. So then you feel like you have no choice but to give away your book for free. And then it makes you question, should I even stay in this business? Because I'm not making any money. And it is an oversaturated market. Everybody and their mama want to write a book, right? And everybody and their mama should. But how can I put this? Everybody and their mama will write a book, but not everybody and their mama will become a bestseller. And a lot of the reasons is because of lack of support. If your Facebook, you have to kind of look at your Facebook. If I ask 10 people on Facebook to read my book for free, I guarantee maybe 5 will read it and leave a review. It's reviews are the hardest things to get. I don't care if you hurt at this game because I became an author, I had to be, the one thing that, at least I hope authors and entrepreneurs develop is a thick skin. Somebody's going to hurt your feelings. Somebody's going to say your book ain't good enough. It's just what it is. They're going to tell you your book is not good enough. They're going to tell you that it sucks to hell and you need to do this and you need to do that and you need a better plot and you need a better editor and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't care who you are. Now, if you are a perfectionist, and I know a lot of those too, they may not get that, right? They may just be perfect in this business. But if you got a hater, if you got a frenemy and an enemy, and they mad because you glowing up a little bit, believe me, they're going to be like, I hate that girl, bro. Look at and just think about the musicians and rappers and how many times they'll go and attack they'll attack from Beyonce to Nicki Minaj and just attack them for just stupid stuff. So you're not special. As a matter of fact, that's when you know you've actually come up. And I say that to people all the time. When you get a bad review, that means that people are reading. And I thank God. Thank God. Because that's the key. I tell people all the time, don't just buy my book, read the book. That is important to me. That is important to authors. When people read the book, Jesus, Lord, Christ in heaven. Read the book. You can't help me and say, girl, I bought your book. So what's it about? I don't know. I had somebody tell me a whole entire different scenario. I said, who book did you read? You didn't read Tamara's. They was like, oh, girl, I ain't read your book. I'm just lying. I didn't have time. I didn't have time. And I get it. People's lives are overwhelmed with responsibilities and obstacles and all of those good things. But sometimes we got to come out of. Let me just say this: your support is key to whether or not sometimes people keep going. And I know that that's a large responsibility, right? But for me, thank God that I had the ability to develop a thick skin. To know that I gotta love writing regardless of if my family support me. I have to love writing regardless of if my friends write a review. I have to love this book regardless. And I made the choice and I made the conscious decision that if I was going to come in this business, to come without fear. And when I came into this, and it's so funny because I had a little bit of fear about writing this book, Cash and Money and Blog Diaries. There's a lot of fear in it because I'm stepping up my game. And I say that to y'all that when you're stepping up your game, you're going to have that moment of fear. So here I am with this book out. It's on Kindle. It's coming out coming out as a paperback, and I'm sitting there like, somebody gonna read this and say she is not from the hood. And I do. I grew up in the hood. I've seen a lot of things, but I've learned to write differently. And I've learned to take even urban fiction and turn it into where you learn a lesson. That is my goal with every book, that somebody learns a lesson. Because if it was all about killing, shooting, cutting up, beating up, every character in my book, Cash and Money, taught a lesson. There was a lesson about betrayal. There was a lesson about love. There was a lesson about a father, the relationships between a father and a son, a relationship about women who are lost and broken. There was a lesson in that. It was even a lesson. It's going so far as a lesson about how men talk to women, African American men talk to women and damage them with their words. And the lesson, and the profound lesson that Money had to learn from that, because his mouth and his tongue is ruthless when it comes to wrecking your soul. And that's the same thing about this business as an entrepreneur. And I say that to people, that authors get disappointed a lot. And you can't come into this business weak. You just can't. You can't be weak being an author. Be prepared. Like, I prepare myself for every book I have. I do two things, and I know that's gonna sound crazy, but I cry about the fact that somebody's not gonna like my book. I get it right out the way. I prepare myself for bad reviews. I prepare myself for people not to buy a copy. I mentally prepare myself for that. And I know that sounds weird, but I do. I mentally prepare myself to be disappointed. I mentally say, okay, I'm going to be disappointed in this business, so that way it's out of the way. It's out of the way, and no one else has permission. So when it happens, I'm prepared. And so many times, I have friends and come to me so disappointed, and they're like, you're just so nonchalant, because when you've already prepared yourself for this business, when you've already set up a goal to say, you know what, this is going to happen regardless. I'm going to write this book regardless. I'm going to publish this book. I'm going to do what I have to do in this business, because I cannot be scared.